In this case, the interviewee was my mother. The conflict was her father divorced my grandmother, her mother, without telling the family beforehand. He sold the houses in Dominican Republic that were under both of their names, took the money, uh, and began a life on his own to marry someone else, have children with them, and had my grandmother raising my aunts, uncles, and my mother on her own. She wasn't even a U.S. citizen. Therefore, she had to clean houses for a living for decades. The impact of the relationship was very extreme. My mother barely spoke to my grandfather for about 16 years. And it wasn't until then that she considered being able to forgive him. She was tired of feeling emotionally hijacked every time that she heard his name. She described the feeling as complete and utter exhaustion, physical, emotional weigh down, or just a heaviness on her heart. She considered forgiving him after having a conversation with her mother, my grandmother. My grandmother helped my mother understand that forgiveness doesn't make it so that everything is okay, but it meant letting go of the resentment that she had. So forgiveness, in her opinion or in her words, was not for the other person. It was for her. She had to get a grip of her pain and in turn also help my grandmother find peace with the situation, because the negative effect that it was having on my mother and her siblings was immense. So the steps taken in this case was that my mother began to reach out to my grandfather, over the phone, and frequently made small talk. Eventually, she did decide to travel to Dominican Republic. They greeted each other. She described it as they embraced for a long time. They cried in each other's arms. She apologized to him for taking so long to be able to see him. And she confessed that she hated what he did to her mother. He nodded as if he understood, but gave no verbal apology. She described it as there being no real apology. He never admitted that he did anything wrong or expressed any remorse or regret. When she brought it up to him, he brushed it off, saying that it was in the past, as if that made it okay. That did hurt more than the silence, as she explained, and hurt her that he was unable to take any sort of accountability for that situation. The lessons that she learned in this case were that she needed to protect herself emotionally. She learned to basically be guarded, and as her daughter, it was hard to kind of gauge my mother's emotions, my aunt's emotions, because they were like kind of stoic and didn't know how to be affectionate. They they had those father wounds for sure, and it resonated within their parenting. Right as of now, she approaches conflict differently. She believes in honesty and forgiveness being the most powerful thing to own her freedom and it not being for anyone else's comfort. I learned that the reason that my mother, my grandmother, the reason that they are the way that they are, and just allowing them some grace and some time, and some just appreciation, meeting them where they're at in hopes that, if I make a mistake, then someone will show me the same sort of mercy. Thank you.